Welcome to the 3 for 3 podcast. I, as always, am Paul Teach Nelson. I am joined by Alex Podfather Gullett. And with you guys at home, we are 3 for 3.
3 for 3. Man, we're here.
Let's-
NFL week
we
one.
We are, man. It was a huge football weekend.
It was crazy.
We're gonna get to all that fun stuff. All right. The pros were on Sunday.
Yep.
We got that. You had a great time. I had a not so great Monday night. But Sundays are for the pros. Saturdays are for the boys, though.
Hey,
Saturdays
boys just want to have fun. Have you ever heard that song?
Boys, no, but we're coming out with it.
Boys just want to have fun.
So let's head to campus, right? Let's head to the classroom. What do you say?
Yeah. Let's go to the class.
You want to hear some teachable moments?
Teachable moments, man. It's my favorite time of the week. If you guys don't know, get involved with teachable moments.
Teachable moments, right? So the first teachable moment, we're going to start where you believe the most. Okay, and where do you believe the most? Colorado, baby.
It's always Colorado.
Colorado. So lesson learned. Teachable moment. Prime and company, they can make some adjustments. Listen, halftime of the game, I didn't like what I saw in the first half. I did not like it at all. I thought they were being pushed around by Nebraska. I thought the offense stuttered. I don't know if they were just too hyped up for a home game or what, but they came out after the half and boy, oh boy, did they turn into that juggernaut.
Yeah, I think they were struggling the first half. Didn't seem like they can get their legs up under them. They weren't in a great rhythm. That did change the second half. Yeah,
it absolutely did. Who stood out from the game?
I mean, I think there were a couple of people. I think Weaver, right? The wideout, 10 catches, $170. I think he had an amazing game. And listen, Shorter Sanders, I think he may have struggled through the first half, but once he got his legs up under him, the game kind of slowed down. You can see it come together. They kind of figured out what was going on, what Nebraska was trying to do. He ended the game with almost 400 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, had a rushing touchdown. And so he still had a Shador Sanders-like game.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. Travis Hunter didn't have as big an impact, but again, this is a guy who's a two-way player.
But what do we expect from a kid who's going to end up playing 100+ snaps in every game, right? And so you're going to have these games against some of these teams where he's not going to pop off the screen as much. So he still played great defensively.
Yes, he did.
Still played great. And there were a few opportunities for him in the offense also. Yep. And so, but I think it's as expected, right?
Yeah. Now, Shador Sanders, you mentioned him, just leaving him there. It's a game of adjustments.
Yeah.
Mel Kiper Jr. has adjusted his quarterback rankings.
He sure has.
He has Shador Sanders as a top 3 quarterback. And he said if he stays in school, if he stays in Colorado one more year, he is the number 1 prospect at quarterback for the 2025 draft.
He could be. You're going to look at Caleb Williams probably coming out this year. You're going to have Michael Penix probably coming out this year.
Yeah, I think it's Caleb Williams head and shoulders above everyone.
Yeah.
I think above everyone. And then it's Shador's in that discussion.
And then you have the discussion. You have Penix, you have Travis, you have Shador, May,
Jordan Travis.
You know what I mean? So you have those guys who are kind of like, they're good.
Another guy who was a big time recruit 2 years ago. We heard about him. Miami's quarterback, Van Dyke.
Yes, man, Van Dyke.
Leads us to our next teachable moment. Okay. The growing pains have paid off at the U. Okay. So, I mean, listen, they've taken their lumps. Mario Cristobal, all we heard about was, hey, coming from Oregon, he's a great recruiter. And Tyler Van Dyke was catching hell last year. And now he looks like a flat out stud.
Well-deserved last year.
They had a good year. They didn't have the
But they didn't have the year that everybody was predicting them to have coming out last year, right? And so this year, starting 2-0, they played some talent.
Yes.
And Van Dyke just put up 5 more tutties.
That's it.
I do my best Gronk. He just put up 5 more tutties, right?
Tutties for all.
Yeah, tutties for everybody, And so I want to say, I don't think the Hurricanes are only relevant in the Atlantic Ocean right now.
No.
They're also relevant in college football. They're also relevant in the field. College football is better when Miami's good.
Yes. Yeah. And this is a weird year where feels like there's a lot of good teams. There's, everybody always says the U is back. This team is back. This team is back. And Saturday night, we got another one. Texas is back, ladies and gentlemen.
Is the bigger story Texas is back or Alabama's struggle?
I don't know. I watched that Texas-Alabama game with keen eye. Now, I like Alabama. I do. I like Nick Saban. man, did
Can we take a moment really quick and just rub Teach on the shoulder, because hard weekend for him.
it's a rough weekend.
Bama, being Bama fan,
Bama,
outclassed by Texas. Okay,
yes.
now I'm not going to try to jump ahead too far,
Okay.
but Buffalo, the Bills
outclassed.
lost to Zach Wilson
Again, second year in a row. The same way.
Same quarterback,
walk off.
punt return, missed field goal at the end of regulation.
Yankees, Jason Dominguez, the Martian goes down with Tommy John.
Goes down, Tommy John.
Dude, it's not. What is next?
All I'm saying is sometimes we have those sports years. Okay,
Team USA.
I'm an Orioles fan. I'm a Cowboys fan, and I'm a Lakers fan. Okay, so if I could tell you guys anything about sports heartbreak, like you can hear it from me, right? There's been glory years, but there's also been heartbreak. But I feel bad for you this weekend. Get back to Texas. Sorry.
So let's teachable moment this. All right. Now I'm glad you brought Alabama, because the teachable moment has nothing to do with Texas. It's Alabama. Listen, it's Tyler Buckner time.
Is it?
It is. I don't care about the stats last year, Notre Dame. Okay. I don't care the sparingly he's played. It is one of the biggest travesties in college football right now that Jalen Monroe is still the quarterback. He is the one read kid. Yeah. He is the kid who has gotten by on athletic ability. He looked the same way last year. It's one read, it's not there, I'm running. And you know what? Texas has studs. Texas has two valid wide receivers, and their defensive line is probably the second best in the country.
Yeah, I hate this for Bama, but as you look at how it's falling out, we're only in week 2, right? So,
right. Well, 3.
Going into 3, but 3. As you look at it, I don't know a road forward for Alabama to get into the playoff.
Yeah, I think there's still hope. This was a non-conference. Listen, they can win out in their conference.
Georgia's tough.
Yeah, they won't play Georgia until the SEC final. So I think even a weird 2-loss Alabama team, if they make a quarterback change and show they can, that defense is, I think, the best defense in the country. I think Alabama's defense is the best. Their offense did them no favors at that Texas game, putting them in terrible field position and behind the 8 ball early.
I'm not ready to give them best defense. There's still a Georgia Bulldog team out there who is stout.
There is
defensively.
I'm not bearing Alabama yet. Now let's talk a little bit about Texas. Quinn Ewers, okay? He goes from 218 pounds, mullet wearing, Morgan Wallen looking like, right, to the svelte, the slender, the rail thin with the job interview haircut Quinn Ewers, who's looking out like, hey, I want an NFL career, right? So he looked fantastic. What did you think of Texas?
No, I think Texas was good. My take from this, I think Texas is what we thought they were, right? And so Texas comes in, they moved the ball pretty well against Alabama. The run game, they were able to run the ball in Alabama, which was surprising to me. I was like, Bama's got a great defense.
Yes.
So I was very surprised they were able to run the ball. But again, to me, I don't give credit to Texas, but I think the moral of the story is Alabama. I think Saban, the quarterback situation, they are in shambles right now, and they better get answers quickly.
Yes, and it's so unlike. We talked about it last week. They went from Bryce Young, Tua, Jalen Hurts, Mac Jones, all these guys who were absolute studs, and now they're stuck with Milroe. Clean it up. Just got to clean it up, okay? Roll Tide, and we don't mean toilet roll Tide, all right?
That may be what it is this year.
Now, Alabama wasn't the only team that got upset. So upsets of the week. Okay. Listen, I could have went a couple different places. I could have gone Arizona, losing to Mississippi State, being the only Pac-12 team to lose. Pac-12 was 17-0.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Arizona, right? Yeah. Wildcat. How dare you?
Way to break the streak. Maybe the most surprising thing in college football so far this year.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're not wrong at all. Yeah. But instead, I'm going to go Virginia, right? I'm going to go UVA losing to JMU. I get JMU was favored. They were 6-point favorites. But 55 seconds left, JMU tosses a touchdown to win the game. And guess what? JMU is they're a minor league team. Like this is not a major football team. This is the classic case of UVA is the Power 5 school. JMU is the powerhouse.
But here's the difference, right? And now from Virginia, right? Yes. Virginia boy.
Yeah.
Born and bred, right? And so here's the difference. Is I think starting a couple of years ago, we saw Virginia start to tilt the JMU, the ODU. ODU had a couple big wins
Yes,
in there.
they did.
And so I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think it's close to happening yet. Okay, poor UVA. They should really do better.
I don't
That's
feel
number
bad.
one. Number two is I don't think we're far away from Virginia being a ODU JMU college football state.
Yeah.
Because Virginia Tech, you can call it what you want.
Yeah.
Beamer had a couple good years, right?
He had a great era.
He had a good era. That was mostly Michael
Struggled
Vick.
since.
That was mostly Michael Vick.
No.
Okay. The defense was great. Great recruiting.
Yes.
Kids wanted to play at Virginia Tech. We had a couple of those. You had the Barber years in Virginia, right? Yep. So a couple good years there. But ever since, what has Tech done? What has UVA done?
Yeah, Tech has struggled since Beamer left, whereas UVA seems to have one Al Groh year where they go 11 wins with Matt Schaub and Heath Miller, and then they're out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
That's my upset. What was your upset of the week?
Yeah, upset of the week. I'm going to go. I think it was simple. Everybody could have seen it. Washington State over Wisconsin. This was crazy. Okay?
Shocking.
Now, what I'm going to say is I think Wisconsin going into the year had a boxer's chance of competing with Ohio State and Michigan.
Yeah.
I think they did. I think it was a 3-team race. Now, I think Ohio State's better than both of those.
Yes.
But I think there was still a possibility for 3 teams to be in there. But it's not going to happen now. Most surprising, Wisconsin got nothing going on the ground. It was absolutely crazy. Braylon Allen, who I think is probably a top 5 running back in the nation.
Yes, absolutely.
20 yards?
Yeah.
You can only scrape together 20 yards.
That offensive line did nothing.
And defensively. And now I'm not knocking Cameron Ward. Okay. He had a great game, but it's Cameron Ward. Okay. Yeah. It's Washington State. It's Cameron Ward. But they couldn't stop him through the air. They couldn't stop him on the ground. They couldn't stop him during timeouts. They couldn't stop him at commercial breaks.
Should have stopped him at the airport.
Yeah. You should have just not to let the kid bust in. And so, man, Luke Fickell.
He's got some work to do.
Where do you go from here?
I think
it's a tough loss.
I think it's year one, and I think this could have been a trap game. You know, it's early in the season, so this could have been a trap game. I love that as the upset of the week because absolutely we said Wisconsin was a dark horse team that could shock everyone. Got some homework for you.
Yeah.
So this weekend, let you know what's coming up, right? So it's an interesting weekend of football because you don't have any major games. But you do have some interesting games. So I'm going to give you a couple, okay? So I got South Carolina at UGA.
Is that Clowney University?
His most famous event of his whole career was probably that running back hit. That was it. It has gone down ever since.
Yeah.
This is Shane Beamer. So speaking of Frank Beamer, son Shane, and quarterback Spencer Rattler versus the Dogs. We'll see how that goes. Tennessee versus Florida.
It's a good game.
Tennessee struggled with Austin, PA. I think they were looking ahead to this Florida game.
They were definitely looking ahead.
And Florida definitely needs to bounce back after the week 1 loss, just rashing they got from Utah. But I'm going to give you the game that you want.
You know which game I want.
Colorado State versus Colorado. Prime is prime time viewing, right? Can I give you a little stat?
You can.
Teacher's stat of the week. The Colorado-Nebraska game had almost as many views as the Texas-Alabama game.
Why wouldn't it?
I mean, 9 million people.
But I think you have to look at what Prime has done is not only has he said, okay, 18 in the country right now.
Yes, climbing.
1 win last year.
Yes.
18th in the country right now.
Doubled the wins.
Wins over Nebraska, wins over TCU. Now, I'm not claiming either one of those to be national championship contenders, but I am saying they are notable college wins, okay, which Colorado hasn't seen in the likeliness of 10 years, okay?
Right.
15 years maybe, right? And so what Prime has done has been absolutely incredible, but not only has he improved to be a ranked team, the face of college football is not Nick Saban, is not Dabo, is not whomever else we want to. It's not Caleb Williams, even though the kid with the most talent in college football should probably be the most talked about. It's not. It's Deion Sanders, Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, Shiloh, and those Colorado Buffaloes.
All right, so let me unpack this just for a minute.
Yeah.
So we got Caleb Williams and his Wendy's ads versus Coach Prime and his GOAT ads for, what was it, Allstate or Progressive or
whichever one.
Some insurance, right?
Either way, it protects you.
I'm a fat boy. I'm going Wendy's. Caleb Williams.
Of course. You got to go Wendy's. Can I throw this out there about Caleb Williams really quick?
Yes.
The kid has played 2 halves of football. 2 halves. He sat the whole second half of the first game, sat the second half of the second game. He threw for 400 yards in the second game,
Yes.
4 or 5 touchdowns, the same thing in the first game. He's got the same stats as the second, third, fourth, fifth best quarterback in the nation. He's played 4 quarters.
It's unreal.
It's crazy.
Unreal. Getting Patrick Mahomes vibes. He is definitely the first pick in the draft. He's going to be a rookie quarterback next year.
Better collegiate quarterback than Patrick Mahomes would have ever dreamed of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's going to be a rookie in the NFL, which brings us to, let's just recap some Podfather predictions from last week.
Let's do that because, listen, first of all, if y'all haven't seen them, okay, if you're not keeping up, you must go check them out. Go rewatch, okay? It's week 1, NFL preseason. Last episode dropped last Wednesday.
Listen,
we did fantastic.
I mean, we crushed it. It's like we do a podcast for a living.
It's like we talk about sports all day long.
We could.
You know,
maybe
going 80% on any futures or any bets that you're giving out, that's pretty tremendous.
I mean, listen, 55% is what they say in Vegas. If you can go 55%, you're making a living.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's just take some of the things we were right on, okay? So Podfather's predictions, just the Podfather's predictions. Rookie quarterbacks lost.
All 3. That's
check,
3 games.
check. Browns beat the Bengals. Check. Saints beat the Titans.
Check.
Triple check, all right? Doing the triple check discount.
This is sorry, Aaron.
And you have both your Achilles. So that's winning. So you went 3 for 3. Before we get into your predictions for week 2 where you're just handing out money to people, why don't you run down week 1? What stood out to you week 1?
Week 1. Let's talk about week 1, okay? How about them Cowboys? That's number 1. Okay, how about them Cowboys? First thing I want to say is this. Now, I say we because I'm a huge Cowboys fan, just amazingly huge Cowboys fan. Listen, there was so much talk about us, where we fit in the NFC, how good Philadelphia is, how good San Francisco is. We're going to be the 3rd best team, and 3rd best teams don't win Super Bowls. And you heard this and you heard that. When I turned on the TV this morning and I started to listen, YouTube, and I'm driving down the road and I'm listening to YouTube, and all of the sportscasters who were talking early morning, Acho, Skip, Irvin, Shannon, First Take, Football in the Morning, all these guys, every one of them are going, holy smokes, those Cowboys, that defense, Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, Sam Williams didn't even play, but Golston got in there.
Trayvon Diggs,
Stephon Gilmore, who everybody said was washed. He only got a pick and blanketed anybody you put in front of him.
Fantastic.
He looked amazing. Then we have this other kid. Okay, his name's Deron Blaine. He just got another interception Sunday night. Just another one. He only led the Cowboys last year. And interceptions, got another one. Leighton Vander Esch looked amazing. Damon Clark looked amazing. We didn't have to see much from the offense. I think Tony Pollard looked good. Dak, 11 for 13, 18.
Didn't have to do anything.
He didn't have to do anything.
No.
He looked comfortable in the pocket. He wasn't twitchy. He wasn't going crazy. He dropped back. When he got to his last step, the ball was out of his hands. He went to the read. He made the right reads. None of the throws were like, what are you doing with the ball?
Nope.
And it was pouring down rain. It was a literal monsoon, right?
Yes.
But Daniel Jones, the $160 million man.
Sneaky athletic.
And a sneaky athletic. We saw that in the first drive.
We saw some.
We saw that in the first
saw that sneaky athleticism.
Yeah. I don't want to knock him yet because I'm having a hard time going, is Dallas this good or is New York that bad? And I think it's somewhere in the middle for both. I think Dallas is really good, and the Giants are middle of the pack NFC team.
Okay.
And there's a lot of bad teams in the NFC. We're going to talk about that in a minute.
I'll say it. They're that bad. And it could be a combination of both.
It is.
Listen, 85 Bears, 2000 Ravens. Yeah, 2023 Dallas Cowboys, because that defense is that good. This is one of those, that early 2000s Buccaneers team where I can see Micah Parsons getting with Dak and saying, hey, y'all just need 14 tonight. You get 14, we're going to get 14. That's a wrap on this.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Want to move down a couple lists real quick, and I want some feedback from you. Okay, because this is just my early quick take.
All the NFC teams look great.
49ers look legit.
Amazing. Offense, defense, everything.
Brock Purdy,
Mr. Relevant.
I don't think, so Mr. Irrelevant goes from Mr. Irrelevant to
still relevant, baby.
Yeah, still relevant. Now, I don't think he's like overly overly gifted, but I think in the Kyle Shanahan system and with those playmakers around him, as long as he's efficient, he puts the ball on the money.
Yes.
He
Perfect
puts the
point
ball-
guard.
He is the perfect point guard. He's the Chris Paul of the NFL right now in San Francisco. Okay.
Okay.
And so, hey, Chris Paul's not going to be on the bench. We're going to talk about that later. Not tonight, but another one.
Okay.
So, Eagles, they didn't look the same.
No, and again, that's just the same monsoon that they were playing in New York. They were playing in
is
in
it the
Philly.
East Coast monsoon, or what I like to think is they're going to miss those coordinators?
Maybe
They're going to miss those coordinators.
Maybe. The defense looked good. The Eagles' defense looked good. You give Bill Belichick, who you discredit at times because of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. You give Bill Belichick all offseason to say, prepare for Philadelphia, and you know what's going to happen? He's going to go and he's going to say, guys, we're gonna go in there and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna watch. We're gonna have 5 personnel.
If Butte,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
if he catches the toe on the sideline,
yes,
New England could win that game.
Absolutely. I thought there was a couple special teams errors in there.
Yeah,
should have went for a field goal. They didn't, but that's okay. Anything else surprise you this weekend?
I don't know to call them Tampa Bay Mayfields or to call them the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All I know is that Minnesota stubbed their toe on Baker Mayfield on Sunday, and I loved it. So saw a replay in the game. Baker Mayfield throws a stiff arm at the cornerback, and he says, "Get your weight up, young man. Get your weight up."
Tampa Baker.
It's Tampa Baker.
They went from Tampa Bay to Tampa Baker. Listen, he was the first overall pick. There's something that can be said about get a chip on his shoulder, get him in decent weather, and don't have any expectations.
What do you think the game of the week was?
I have there's another teacher at my school who's a Dolphins fan, and I swear it's all we talk about. And he's not a football fan per se.
Yeah.
But he said, I watched every single one, and I'm telling you, Tua looks good.
How could you not watch the whole game?
Tyreek Hill said it, right? He said, I'm getting 2,000 yards this year. And I'm calling him a truther. Okay. He is a truther.
Now, people can say what they want about Tua, but there's something in quarterbacks that matters way more than arm strength, and that's accuracy.
I was going to say hand size.
That's pocket presence,
yeah.
And that's how understanding the game of football.
Yeah.
This kid, what he was able to do with Tyreek, the fade route he threw in the end zone to the 5-foot whatever Tyreek Hill over the cornerback's shoulder into the breadbasket was absolutely amazing. I know as a Bills fan, you don't want to talk about Tua.
I want to talk about that play.
Shout out to Robbie Elliott, biggest Dolphins fan I know, and also in our fantasy league, who I'm going to smoke this year. But what a play!
I'll say this: it was a bad pass. It was a bad pass. I don't care what anybody says. Tua. It was a bad pass. You shouldn't have looked there. Okay, if the cornerback has any field awareness, he turns around, picks that off, and we're taking it out to the 20. That was a bad pass that got so overhyped. This is the kid who dunks in warmups, and everybody thinks he's a good basketball player because he dunked in warmups.
If you can dunk, you can play basketball professionally.
That was absolutely trash. Now,
okay.
The last thing.
Quick rundown really quick. I want to say this. Game of the week, Miami Chargers. I give you that. Glad the Chargers lost. Thank you, Kellen Moore, as a Cowboys fan.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Continuation of
welcome to Kellen Moore, LA. You're going to keep doing the same thing you did last year because that's what Dallas went through for the last 5 years. Okay.
Yes.
Really quick. Aaron Rodgers with Keeley. Sad story. Hate it for your Bills because they just lost to Zach Wilson.
Mothers everywhere cheering him on.
Yeah, mothers everywhere are now interested in football.
That's what we said.
I love the tweet.
That's what we said. Chicago
Bears. They still stink.
That was an interesting game, though.
Is this an Eberflum thing?
I don't think so. I think it's a Fields thing.
Is it a Justin Fields thing?
There's a reason he's signed to Reebok shoes and not Nike. That's all I'm saying. He doesn't have these amazing wide receivers. I think Justin Fields is possibly one of the greatest running quarterbacks in the history of the game. He just can't throw the ball very well.
Is it the Love era officially in Green Bay?
I think it is. I think they're onto something. I don't know what the rest of this year looks like, but Nick Saban always says the best asset that a quarterback can have
The
is
best is my wife. Thank you, honey. Love
it's
you.
the best asset a quarterback can have is kind of what you were saying is how do they command a room?
Yeah.
It's what everybody saw in Mahomes when he came out.
Yeah.
It's what everybody saw in Rodgers when he came out. And I think Love commands the field. I think players play hard for him.
I think so too. I think you're right. A couple more questions for you. Who wanted to lose the game more, the Commanders or the Cardinals?
I think the Cardinals are full on tank, and it's funny because I think that the Commander fans who were at the game were like, I don't even care. Dan Snyder is gone. Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Yeah, just
whatever.
As long as we're playing football, we don't have to win.
Yeah, no,
but they looked horrible.
They both did. Yes.
Okay. What games am I missing?
How about Bronco Country? Let's ride.
Let's ride. Las Vegas, Jimmy Garoppolo. We said this last year. We'll continue to say this. Jimmy Garoppolo's he's not the sexiest quarterback. He might
be now.
But he's not the best quarterback on the field in most games. But the guy wins.
He finds ways to win. And Russ Wilson, again, I think there's an out where Sean Payton goes, he wasn't my guy.
Is Russell Wilson the guy?
I don't think he is.
It's crazy to watch. And so as I turned that game on, I started watching some highlights from it. I said, man, I remember as a kid watching Jeff Hostetler and John Elway fight on the sidelines. It was my favorite rivalry of my childhood before I started really loving the Cowboys. But the Broncos and Raiders were like my thing back then. It was great.
It's wild. I don't know. Listen, Atlanta, Bijan looked good. Their whole running game looked good. I don't know if Desmond Ritter's the guy. There's a lot of football left. And, this week's going to be a fun week.
Kenny Pickett looked horrible.
Again, small hands. I still believe in the Pickett fence.
Deontay Johnson with a hamstring injury.
Surprise, surprise, right?
Surprise. It's the same thing, different year.
That's your guy. That's your fantasy guy.
That's what happens every year. And so that's the week one breakdown. I don't know that we missed anything.
Minnesota.
We talked about Minnesota, Baker Mayfield.
Why don't you go ahead and let's jump into Podfather's predictions week two? Yeah, you got three predictions for him.
So we hit all, but I missed Detroit last.
Did we go 3 for 3?
We were 3 for 3.
I think we
did predictions. Now there were a couple that we did miss, right?
Listen, we'll get to the three-way parlay.
Okay, we'll get to the three-way parlay. So here's what I want to talk about this week. This is what I think is going to happen going into week 2. I'm going to give you 3 firm things that I think happen for sure week 2. Number 1 is going to be this. Baker Mayfield and the Bucs start the year 2-0. That's right. I think it happens. I think they beat the Vikings week 1, and I think this week they handle the Bears. What I liked about the Bucs was, hey, White looked good. Okay, yes. The linebackers, the defense looked good. They're running. They're going after the ball again. And Baker Mayfield, I think with a healthy wide receiver core, I think they do he's going to do just enough to get W's.
Yes.
Right? It's resurgence year for Baker Mayfield. That's number 1.
That's what he did in Cleveland. That's great. That's all he needs to do in Tampa Bay in that NFC South.
Bring moxie, bring attitude, play hard. Right?
Yes.
And so Bucs start 2-0. That's my first prediction. From 2-0, we're going to go to 0-2. The defending champs are going to start 0-2. That's right. I've been on the hype train all year long and the whole offseason. I love what the Jaguars are doing. I love Trevor Lawrence as a quarterback. Calvin Ridley may have been the biggest steal of the whole offseason for anybody. The Jaguars are going to beat Kansas City this week, and the Chiefs are going to start 0-2.
Okay, so bet on it. Not you, Calvin Ridley, but everybody else not associated with the NFL. Bet on that game.
Calvin, you stay away from the gambling sheets from DraftKings and FanDuel, okay?
There you go.
But I really love Jacksonville in this game.
Yeah, they looked very good.
They looked the part.
Looked great. Anthony Richardson looked scrappy.
Yeah.
But they were able to calm that hype. So I love that.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with my third prediction here, and this was going to break my heart a little bit because a team that I thought was going to make a big splash coming into the year is also going to start 0-2, and that's the Seattle Seahawks. I think Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions go in, and they're going to beat Seattle, okay? Let's just talk about Detroit for a second. The offense is legit, and the offense is only get better the more they learn about Gibbs. Here's what I can say about old Alabama running backs. They come into the NFL and they can play football.
Yeah.
Jahmyr Gibbs is the real deal. We saw him with 10, 12 touches last week. And the kid seemed like he was one move away from breaking it every time. I love what they're going to do in Detroit. Defense looked good. I was right about Jack Campbell. We hit that right on the head where your father was right about that first.
Yeah.
Sergeant Major Nelson.
Shout
out Sergeant Major Nelson. You've been a big fan of Campbell for a long time.
Monday night.
Yeah. And so that's it. Detroit's going to win.
That's great. And you talked about one running back, David Montgomery.
Chicago,
you probably misused him. And Detroit says, thank you very much. We needed a replacement for Jamal Williams.
Well, it's not only that, but I think if you're rating offensive lines in the NFL, Detroit's probably number 1 or maybe number 2 next to Philadelphia.
Yeah. And you know what? Seattle could be up there now because they signed 38-year-old Jason Peters.
Seahawks are going to struggle now going forward. They lost both their tackles. And if you can't block the pass rush in the NFL,
Geno could be a one-year wonder.
He could have been. Yeah.
Could be a one-year wonder.
Yeah.
So those are some bold predictions. Go ahead, get your pocketbook
Not bold
out.
they were, but I think they're predictions that are going to be legit.
I think they were pretty bold. I mean, talking about the reigning defending champions.
Yeah.
Going down 0-2, that it could be panic button time. Let's go ahead and go to our betting segment, the 3-way parlay.
Yeah, so love FanDuel, love what they got going on right now. We've been on FanDuel all Sunday long.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so let's talk about what I'm going to be taking this week at FanDuel.
Go ahead. And we only win if we hit all 3. So last week we went 1 for 3.
Yeah.
We didn't make that much money.
So I had on my notes, I said I was going to take Dallas. They were -3.5 at the at Jerry's World against the Jets. That line has since moved to 9.5.
Yes.
Okay, so
you know what?
Aaron Rodgers went out. It went to 9.5. I think 9.5 in the NFL against the Jets defense is still a lot. So I'm going to go Dallas on the money line. That's going to be my adjustment. I'm still going to stick with Dallas. I'm going to go Dallas on the money line.
Okay, I'm gonna stay on Saturdays, and we're gonna get started off on a positive note this Saturday.
You playing with boys?
Let's easy. Okay, I work at a high school. All right, don't want to listen.
Football.
This isn't Epstein's podcast. This is a 3 for 3. Okay.
3 for 3, yeah.
I'm going University of Washington.
Love that.
And I'm going at Michigan State. Yeah. And Michigan State, speaking of, misconduct.
It's crazy at Michigan State right now.
Mel Tucker's out.
Yeah.
And Michael Penix is coming in as the University of Washington quarterback, who's doing nothing but having an amazing year, a Heisman level year. Yeah. Anytime a team is in flux, like the Spartans are, okay, I don't care if the line's -16. Great. Washington could put half 100 up.
Absolutely. I agree.
So that's where I'm going. And then listen, we're going to go with you because I'm not picking the Bills again. So obviously, so do we want to do Thursday night football? Do we want Philly -7.5 at Minnesota? Do we want Monday night football, New Orleans, -2.5?
2 of them.
Okay.
Let's take 2 of them. So
I'm 3-way parlays turning into a quattro.
What we're going to do is we're going to hedge our bet, right? So we're going to add one, and then we're going to be able to look at it right at the end of the night.
Hedge Mix Sportsbook.
Yeah, we're going to bet the last game of the week. Right?
You have to. Got to get your money back.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You always want to have that in your pocket. So we're going to add that one over there, okay? So what I like is I like New Orleans 2.5 at -2.5, and I love Cleveland -1 against Pittsburgh. Yeah,
okay,
Pittsburgh. So that's where I would go. Okay, I'm going to go.
I'm with you.
New Orleans 2.5, -2.5, Carolina, and I'll go Cleveland -1 to Pittsburgh.
Listen, you got to trust the man you're in the foxhole with. All right, I trust you.
I think we have to.
I think we have to. You said
we're in too deep.
You said the Saints are going to win the NFC South.
They will.
Got to go with it. You had Cleveland beating Cincinnati when nobody else did. Got to go with it. Let's go ahead and rock and roll with it. It was a fun weekend because we started our fantasy.
Wow.
And
one.
Listen. Sit down and be on camera if you're a winner week 1. Oh, it's us.
How you doing?
That's right.
How you doing?
That's right. We won. We won.
Yeah, we did.
It was glorious. It was absolutely glorious.
I beat a 12-year-old. How old is Lane? 14.
14.
Yeah, I beat a 14-year-old.
Beat a freshman in high school.
That's okay.
But you know what? Sometimes they deserve it. Okay.
So when they get cocky and they want to join a grown man's league, right?
Do grown
man business. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it is. Sorry about that, Lane. I love you, but it is what it is.
It was great. Listen, loved it. I think teams are going to start to get mixed up now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think teams. Listen, I put a feeler out there. Nick Chubb is on the chopping block.
Yeah,
he is. That. I got some offers. I'm thinking of them.
How many offers did you get?
Did you
put a deadline on it?
I did not yet. I didn't.
So that's
I didn't go full pod father.
Anybody that's playing fantasy football and you want to know, you want to ask, like, how do I make this move happen? How do I make it legit? You put a deadline on it. I put a 7:00 deadline on everything.
Thursday midnight.
Yeah, that's it.
Wherever I get the best offer goes. I have a couple things. I think I'm going to pull the trigger on one, but I got to wait and see. So why don't you give the people, because you are the reigning, defending champion.
I am.
So why don't you give them Give them some picks.
Yeah.
Who do you want to start? Who do you want to sit?
Yeah, so we're gonna make this really easy, and I don't think I went with the
Last week you went 2 for 3.
I did go 2 for 3 last week. It was good, and one was an injury.
Yes.
Right? So we're gonna let that ride. But this week I'm gonna start at tight end. Okay, I'm gonna go play Dallas Goedert. I think Philadelphia's struggling on offense, and I think even Coach. I can't even say his name on camera. What is his name? Nick Sirianni. Gosh, man, that guy. Nick Sirianni came out and he said, look, if we want to play better football, we got to get Dallas Goedert involved. We need to throw some balls this way, right? And so I think Dallas Goedert's a must start this week. I would start if I had him.
Who do you want to avoid?
Also, I'm going to say a must start is Darren Waller.
Oh, wow.
At tight end. So I'm going to give 2.
Bounce back game?
I think Giants bounce back, and I think Daniel Jones, you're not going to be able to play in the pocket as much. Safety's going to be the tight end. Darren Waller's the best offensive player they have outside of Saquon Barkley.
Yes.
We're going to let that ride. I think you have to sit Pat Freiermuth this week. Okay. We saw some struggle in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to say we're going to sit Pat, and it's not a favorable matchup.
True.
Those Cleveland Brown defense. I mean, when Myles Garrett's doing a crossover and then sacking your quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Cleveland's for real.
It's Cleveland's legitimate.
The Cleveland defense bandwagon for a while.
Yes.
Right? They're for real, but that's going to be a tight end. I want to go defense next.
Okay. Who do you want to start?
You got to start the Dallas Cowboys.
How can you not?
How can you not? Okay, Dallas Cowboys. We're going against the Jets with Zach Wilson starting.
Yes.
Okay, so they're the must play of the week. They're going to be I expect them to be the number 1 scoring defense. I don't think they're going to average 40 points a week like they did last week, but they're going to be a 10, 15 point defense every week.
Teach, why are you drafting them in the 8th round? What are you doing, man? Listen, I heard it all. There were no chirps on Sunday.
I'm surprised you didn't get an offer like Patrick Mahomes for the Cowboys defense.
It's still coming. Hey, there's a deadline to it. All right,
come
offer me up by Thursday at 7 p.m.
Yeah, and I'm going to say sit the Ravens.
Okay, good.
Sit Baltimore. I think Baltimore's going to have some struggles. Let's sit Baltimore Ravens this week.
Okay, what about wide receivers?
Wide receivers must start. If it wasn't obvious out of week 1, we talked about him earlier. Brandon Ayuk. Okay, part of the reason Purdy looks great is because Ayuk is taking the next step.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think Ayuk is wide receiver 2 in San Francisco anymore.
Ooh, wow.
I think Deebo Samuel is Swiss Army knife and Brandon Ayuk is wide receiver 1. That's exactly what I think it is. You're going to see Deebo running those cross routes, running some little shifty stuff. Brandon Ayuk's going to be that guy he's going to go to.
So Podfather thinks Brandon Ayuk is wide receiver 1 in San Fran.
I do.
Let us know in the comments if you agree or not.
Yeah, it may be a bad take for some people, but it's what I think.
He was wide receiver 1 on Sunday.
He was definitely wide receiver 1, but I think that's going to be the rhythm going forward.
Okay. Who do you want to sit down?
And I'm going to sit Keenan Allen.
Okay.
I'm going to sit the Chargers. Keenan Allen. Yeah, let's just sit Keenan Allen.
I like it. He's getting up there. He's a little long in the tooth.
Yeah.
They have other options. Quentin Johnston. They have Mike Williams.
Yep.
Austin Eckler is doing Austin Eckler things.
And not only that, but then you have like Kelly who came in and spelled out Eckler.
100 yards.
Had another 100-yard game. They're running the ball. And one thing I know about Kellen Moore
is he wants to establish a run.
He's either going to run the ball or throw a curve.
He's going to throw it to the tight end.
Yeah. And
Gerald Everett, get those hands warm.
Yeah, Gerald Everett had a good week last week.
He did. Yeah. So, again, those are your fantasy football start and sit brought to you by the champion himself.
That's what we're doing.
The Podfather. So let's go ahead.
I got to trade Deontay Johnson, though. Chubb for Deontay Johnson.
I'll put it on a deadline. I'll let you know. I'll let my fantasy GM get back to you about that.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that.
Okay. You pancake eating. So let's go ahead and
who's your is Mel Tucker your GM?
No, he is not. He is not.
Just seeing where we're at, Dan Snyder.
No. It's my GM's Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner is my There you go. It's sunny, right? Sunny. Yeah. Let's hit our 3 and out. This is where listen, our 3 and out's the last thing we do. It's where we bring in some other sports, some things that kind of flown under the radar, some things that we wanted to get off our chest. And the first thing, all right, so DraftKings, right? We love FanDuel. We love DraftKings.
So notice we're going to take a statement from somebody, something somebody said, and it's going to be either we agree with them and we're 3 for 3, or we don't agree with them and we're 2 for 3.
So let's see if we're 3 for 3. DraftKings has the Atlanta Braves with clinching the playoff spot at a plus 300 or 25% favorites to win the World Series.
Yeah.
Podfather, are you 3 for 3 with the DraftKings and the Braves?
Yeah, how could you to win? I'm an Orioles fan, right? And so
hedge your bets.
Yeah, hedge your. But Atlanta, they're stacked. Oh, yeah. They're stacked, and I'll let you go through some of the roster with Atlanta. But I think definitely favorites in the National League right now.
Now you were on the Braves early though. You were on the Braves early, and I think when we talked about it, you and I talked about Spencer Strider being a Cy Young candidate. He's probably going to lead the league in strikeouts.
Absolutely.
The guy's just a strikeout artist,
and he's not even the best player on their team.
He's not. Ronald Acuna Jr. is absolutely a beast. Hit his 35th home run, just stole his 65th base.
Yeah, you called it earlier. He's going to be what'd you say?
35, 70
35, 70 guy.
Let's name the players other than Ronald Acuna who are 35, 65 guys.
Is there
you ready?
3? There's not. There's 2. Nope. There's only 1.
There, I just named them. There's none other than
Acuna.
He is the only one of the 35, 65. Now,
crazy.
Barry Bonds back in the day went 35, 50.
Yeah.
But nobody has gone 35, 65. And the fact he needs 5 more stolen bases for 35, 70 is absolutely nuts.
It's wild. So, Atlanta. I'm going to go
25%.
I'm going to go agree. 25% is not astronomical.
That leaves your Orioles.
Yeah.
Let me see my math. 75% chance of winning, right?
Yeah. Well, it won't be the Yankees. So we're not going to
talk about
that too much.
Listen, no, it's just enough. It's okay.
Enough? Yeah.
It's all right. I couldn't hear you after all those rings that they originally have.
Whatever.
But a team that doesn't have any rings.
Ooh.
Team USA, the FIBA tournament. Let's hear what Kerr had to say. We've put ourselves in a great position. We got to the semifinals and we're right there. Team USA coach Steve Kerr. Are we 3 for 3 with Kerr?
Listen.
Cook.
Steve Kerr's got to say Steve Kerr stuff, right? He has to. But at what point is are American basketball players going to take American basketball serious again? Because I can think of years, it's been years removed since the LeBron Jameses, the Anthony Davises, the Chris Pauls, the whom else am I missing? The
Kobe Bryant, the Redeem Team guys.
Redeem Team.
Yes.
Yeah. That was it. That's the last one. And what year was that? 2000.
12 years ago?
Yeah. Was it 2012, 2010?
I think it was 12 years ago.
Yeah.
You are absolutely, listen, you were more livid than I could have ever predicted. Now, I've watched all the FIBA games and it cracks me up because I'll shoot you and, coach, I'll shoot you guys a text and be like, hey, they look good early. This looks awesome. Anthony Edwards looks great. But you were absolutely livid. You were like, I'm denouncing my American citizenship. I'm becoming German. I am becoming
now a
Lithuanian. I knew it. You were singing the national anthem for Lithuania.
I can't even be a Lakers fan anymore because I'm Lithuanian.
It was rough.
It was
rough, and I disagree with Kerr.
Defense, I disagree also.
Rebounding, I text you and said they ought to take away Triple J's Defensive Player of the Year award.
But what you have is a bunch of kids, young kids who come out and I think somebody came out and said it. Who was it that said it today? That they need a couple players Kyle Kuzma. Carl.
Yes.
So
I saw that.
Kyle Kuzma came out and he said what the American team needs is some good older players, not older players, but older players who know how to be significant in a role.
Yes.
Okay. Because that's what happens when you have dream team type teams.
Yeah.
You have to play a role and you have to play it well, right?
Absolutely.
Like Scottie Pippen knew his role. Charles Barkley knew his role. Michael Jordan knew his role. Magic Johnson knew his role. They were all great. And they all worried about who was better than the other in practices. But when that was done and they stepped on the court to play other teams, they were embarrassing other countries because there was so much pride. They said, we're going to play the role and we're going to play it better than anybody's ever seen it played.
Absolutely.
And now what you have is kids. And I'm not taking anything away from Ant Edwards. I'm not taking anything away from Austin Reeves. I'm not taking anything away from Triple J, whomever, right? But these kids, they want to showcase themselves so much and do so much flashy, so much shooting, and so much
ISO ball.
If you just play fundamental basketball against other places, your talent is going to surpass everything.
You were going to get killed. You sound like the oldest white dude ever, though.
I probably
It was fundamental. You sounded like, hey, I want Jimmy Chitwood at the elbow running the picket fence.
It's like Red Auerbach.
Yes,
right?
I mean,
no, but I think it's.
But you're not wrong.
But
it's international ball.
FIBA ball is different than NBA.
It is.
Right? FIBA ball's rules are different. It's set up differently. It's not made to score 120 points like today's NBA is.
No, it's grinded out basketball. It's a shorter game, too.
It's a shorter game. It's meant the best team win.
So let's have a little bonus in here, right?
Okay.
Got a little bonus for you Who are 3 underrated players you want on the 2024 Paris Olympic team? Now, I have mine ready.
Now, when we say underrated,
I want underrated. Like, Steph and LeBron are going to be on there. Okay.
sure.
So I'll give you mine, and then that gives you a little bit of time. Okay. So I want Draymond Green on that team. I think his style is perfect for international play. He's gritty. Like you're saying, he knows his role on any team
And plays it well.
and plays it supremely well. Okay. Ant Edwards, I think he grew into the next star.
He didn't play a role.
I think his role for that team was be the leading scorer, and everybody else struggled except for my last guy, Tyrese Halliburton. Led this FIBA team in assists and steals. Not overrated. He's properly rated. He did his job. Again, Ant Edwards did his job. Tyrese Halliburton did his job. If you spell Jaren Jackson Jr., you know what letter isn't anywhere to be found?
Yeah.
D.
Defense.
D is nowhere in there.
Yeah.
So that's what they were missing, which Draymond Green brings ton of.
So we could throw a couple names out, right?
Go ahead.
Like I think
I'm expecting it at least one Laker.
Staying in Golden State, if we're gonna stay in Golden State, I'm gonna say this. Okay, Andrew Wiggins. I think he's a perfect fit.
He doesn't fit. He's Canadian.
Yeah, I don't know. Play American basketball then.
Can't put the Wiggins on Team USA.
Does he play for Team Canada?
He does.
Did he play this year?
Not in FIBA because he had baby mama drama.
Did he have baby mama drama still?
He did.
Yeah, that's okay. That's why I didn't realize he was Canadian.
Reeves, really Canadian? Would you put Reeves back on this team?
Yeah,
because Reeves looked great.
No, I'm not putting Reeves back on the team.
Wow,
he's just too white.
Can I throw some names at you?
No, DeMar DeRozan,
perfect.
I think would be a great fit on a FIBA team. Let's go to Boston, right? Let's talk about an ex-Boston player like Marcus Smart. I think would be a great FIBA basketball player. There's another guy in Boston who I think would be great for American basketball, Kristaps Porzingis. Okay, just like Andrew Wiggins,
3-6 Latvia.
No, but I think you can get into like the Jason Tatums. I would love to see those leaders, the Jason Tatums.
Darius Garland,
Donovan
Mitchell.
I don't care much for either one of them, but I think they're good basketball players. I don't think they're as good as everybody thinks they are in basketball, but I think they're good basketball players, right?
I liked Reeves.
I liked Reeves, but to me, it's more than that when you're playing like Austin Reeves. If Austin Reeves would have raised his hand when they were like, "Hey, who wants to join the 1992 Dream Team?" and you seem like
he's the Christian Laettner of this team,
he'd be like,
"Hey guys,
yes, guys, could you imagine?
I'm done filling the water bottles. What do you want me to do next?
Gatorade, boy."
I'd love to see Anthony Davis.
So I think
you want to see the stars.
I'd like to see LeBron James go in and teach these young guys how to play roles. Okay, I'd like to see the Joel Embiids. I'd like to see
he qualifies. They're already trying to get him.
Yeah, and so the Joel Embiids. I'd like to see Russell Westbrook. Like you can call him what you want. Could you imagine his intensity in the FIBA?
I hope to never watch him playing any international ball.
We call it what you want, but I mean the guy plays. He just plays hard.
Yeah. Listen, everybody has that one. That's what Vince Carter's role was on.
Yeah, absolutely.
On Team USA Redeem Team. Now you worry about guys getting hurt.
Yeah.
Right.
Or you don't.
Well, I think they all worry about getting hurt. That's why it's so rare that they play. One person that should have worried about getting hurt was Aaron Rodgers. He goes down. Have no fear. Mother lover. Zach Wilson's here. And
the tweet, as soon as it happened, all MILFs are now interested in football again. And just like that, all mothers are interested in football again.
Boom. Right?
I love that. That was great.
I was ready. I had my Twitter fingers ready.
You're rolling on it.
Okay. Yeah. Follow us on Twitter again. But Bleacher Report came out with an article, right? Brett Sobleski, right, said the organization must quickly regroup and reset its priorities. Loyalty to Wilson shouldn't be counted among them. Ooh. Are we 3 for 3 with Brent?
So I disagree with Brent. I think at some point, Zach Wilson was what, third draft pick?
Second draft
pick. Second draft
Year 3,
pick.
Second pick.
Got an offseason with Aaron Rodgers. I think at some point you have to go, if we're going to see what this kid has, this is it now. He sat under Aaron Rodgers for a couple months, and I know that doesn't make a huge difference, but it makes some difference, right?
I agree.
Salah, year 2 with Salah, right?
Yep.
New offensive coordinator. Hackett's supposed to be a huge difference, right?
Yeah, and I think he's a great coordinator.
I think he's
terrible
a good
head coach, great coordinator.
Right, terrible head coach, good coordinator. So I think I have to disagree with him there because I would, if I was the Jets, I would roll with Zach Wilson right now.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Listen, we are 3 for 3 with Brent.
Yeah.
Who are they going to get? You're going to call Phillip Rivers?
But if they weren't going to roll with Zach Wilson, who would be the plug?
Listen, this is what I was writing names down. You go, Phillip Rivers. He's not leaving his 27 kids.
No,
okay,
that's not
going to happen.
He's on a ranch somewhere, like thinking about how to make more babies.
That's it. He's all he does is coach high school football and make babies, right?
That.
Cam Newton? Nope. We saw how that went a couple times. Okay. Are they desperate enough to give Jameis Winston a call?
Hey, you could trade for Jameis.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 30-30 guy.
But I don't know that Jameis is the answer. Like, I think if I was going to make a trade, and I want to talk, like, I think you could stick with Zach Wilson. But if you're going to make a move, Colt McCoy, the guy was just let go of, and he played well.
Yeah. Jacoby Brissett. I
think Colt McCoy's better than Joe Flacco.
Carson Wentz in the last name.
Carson Wentz. Colin Kaepernick
threw his hat in the ring.
He did.
Hey,
it came out. I read it earlier today.
I could not believe that.
Yeah.
I think,
but the guy's never going to give up. He's a try hard, right?
Yeah.
And
that's okay.
I think that's okay too, because I think when you look at a quarterback, what else other skills do you want? And I'm not the one to be like, hey, he doesn't deserve another chance, because there were a couple of years in football where Kaepernick was him.
Yes, absolutely.
He was him.
Took him to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he was him.
If the lights don't go out, maybe they win.
Micah Parsons is him now.
Michael Parsons is him. So we are 3 for 3 with Brent. Make sure you guys are checking out all our socials. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. Again, we'll be here.
Twitter, Facebook, YouTube.
Week, everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not on Threads yet.
So full episode comes out on YouTube every Wednesday.
Yeah. We're going to be bringing, again, it's football season. So we're going to be talking college football, NFL. We'll still be dotting up different things.
Yeah, we'll dot up some stuff. And then, of course, next month, we're 6 weeks removed from NBA.
That's it. Training camps are going to start.
And this is the best time of the year.
Listen, it's 3 for 3. We're going to be talking 3 major sports for sure.
End of October, you have Major League Baseball playoffs.
Check.
College football.
Check.
NFL football.
Check.
NBA basketball.
Check.
It's just an amazing time of year.
And picking up the checks.
Snickers, candy, Reese's.
Absolutely. Trick or treat. Yeah. Brought to you by 3 for 3. Listen, I am Paul Teach Nelson. He is Alex, the Podfather Gullet. And with you at home, we are 3 for 3.